Thank you so much for joining me for this knee focused class today. So it's all going to be based around strengthening the legs, all of the muscles that support the knees, and by doing so then usually we can avoid knee pain, particularly in situations if you're training with lots of hill running. So we're going to get started straight away. We're going to get started standing for this class, and we're not going to be looking to flex the knees more. We're not going to be looking to flex the knees more than around about 90 degrees. So you want to keep them nice and soft. We don't want to be locking out the joints, but we don't want to be bending too far into the knees either, so avoiding any knee pain with too much flexion. So starting in a nice loose mountain pose, so taking the hands down to the sides, just relaxing the shoulders down, maybe closing the eyes, taking a deep inhale and releasing a full exhale. Coming to the very top of the mat, we're going to inhale, reaching the arms up overhead, and then exhaling, taking a nice soft bend at the knees, folding forwards. On the inhale, lifting the chest maybe halfway, straightening the back, and then with an exhale, taking the hands down to the ground, stepping back into our plank pose. One big inhale here. And then with the exhale, we're going to lower halfway or maybe all the way. Inhaling, lifting the chest. And then exhaling, taking the hips all the way back and up into our downward facing dog. And once you're here, just gently bending one knee at a time, lifting the heels off of the floor, allowing the hips to rise and fall. Then on an inhale, we're going to lift the left foot all the way up. Exhaling, taking the foot in between the hands. On an inhale, we're going to lift the chest, reaching upwards. Exhaling, hands come down to the mat, stepping back into our plank pose. Deep inhale here. Exhaling, lowering, and then with the inhale, lifting the chest, coming into our upward facing dog, and then exhaling, taking the hips all the way back and up into our downward facing dog. Inhaling, lifting the right leg, and then exhaling, taking the foot in between the hands. On the inhale, reaching upwards, finding our high lunge, and then exhaling, taking the hands back down to the mat, stepping back into our plank pose again. Breathing in deeply here. With the exhale, we're going to lower, maybe all the way, maybe halfway, and then on the inhale, untucking the toes, lifting the chest into our upward facing dog. Exhaling, taking the hips all the way back and up into our downward facing dog. So we've started with some gentle movement, right? Allowing the pedal of the legs here, bending the knees one at a time, allowing the hips to rise and fall, and just drawing the shoulders away from the ears, so allowing the shoulder blades to slide up the back. On the next inhale, we're going to step the right foot all the way forwards. So we're coming into like a runner's lunge here, like we're about to start a race. Finding the balance, and then on the inhale, we're lifting upwards like we're coming into a high lunge. And what you want to pay attention to here is that we keep our knee over the ankle, taking the hands to the waist, and checking in with the hips, right? So if it feels like you're turning to the left, you just want to draw the right hip back so that the hips are nice and square, and it feels like your hands are relatively even to one another. Taking one last inhale here. And then with the exhale, we're going to take the left knee, so the one that's down, and we're going to unfold it out to the left so that it makes a mirror image to our right knee, turning to the left. And we should find ourselves in our goddess pose. So maybe taking the hands out to the sides, maybe taking gentle movement left to right. Breathing in deeply, allowing the chest to open, drawing the shoulder blades together. With the exhale, we're taking the hands down to the hips. Inhaling here. We're taking the hands down to the thighs. So inhaling deeply here. With the exhale, we're going to lower our right shoulder, turning to the left. Inhaling, lifting back up to center. Exhaling, lowering the left shoulder, turning to the right. Inhaling, back up to center. We're going to take the hands up overhead. And remember, you can always bounce a little bit left to right, or you can always stop and shake the legs out. Breathing in. On the exhale, we're going to take the right hand over to the left hip. Left hand sweeps behind, takes hold of the right. Breathing in here. Exhaling, hands come back up to center. On the next inhale, reaching upwards. Exhaling, right hand comes behind, left hand over towards the right, twisting to the right. And now one last inhale, reaching up, straightening the legs. We're going to turn to the left, bending into the right knee, left bends down behind. So we're back in our high lunge, but we're facing the other way, right? Taking the hands back down to the hips, just as they were before. Breathing into the belly. Reaching up on an inhale, and then exhaling, taking the hands down to the floor. So we're in our runner's lunge, but we're facing the other way this time, right? And allowing yourself to shuffle the feet around, right? Because we want to keep that knee over the ankle. Taking one last deep inhale here. And then with the exhale, we're going to step the foot all the way back. And we're coming into our downward facing dog again. Breathing in deeply here. With the exhale, we're going to slowly walk the hands back towards the feet. And we should end up in a forward fold or something that kind of resembles it, right? And we can bend the knees here, maybe taking hold of each elbow. Taking a gentle sway from left to right if that feels good. But taking a deep inhale. On the exhale, we're going to bend the knees so that the chest rests on the tops of the thighs. And then with the next inhale, we're going to keep the hips low, but we're going to lift the chest. Taking the hands up out in front of us. And if we look down, we should just about be able to see our toes. That usually means that we've got good alignment here. Breathing into the belly and maybe tilting the pelvis back a little bit, right? If you feel like you're sticking your bum out, you just want to draw that in, taking the abs inwards, reaching up with the hands. One more breath here. And then exhaling, standing up tall, taking the hands down to the sides, maybe shaking the legs out a little bit. And we're going to go back to the very beginning. So we're going to run through that variation of Sun B that we started with, and maybe just check in with how the legs feel now compared to the very beginning. So on an inhale, sweeping the arms up overhead, exhaling, folding forwards. Inhaling, lifting the chest halfway, and then exhaling, planting the hands, stepping back into our plank pose. Breathing in deeply here. With the exhale, we're going to lower Inhaling, untucking the toes, lifting the chest. And then with the exhale, taking the hips all the way back and up into our downward facing dog. On the inhale, sweeping the left leg high behind. Exhaling, taking the foot in between the hands, finding the balance point here. And with the next inhale, reaching the hands up overhead. Breathing in deeply. Exhaling, hands come back down to mat, stepping back into our plank pose. Breathing in here. With the exhale, we're lowering. And then inhaling, lifting the chest, finding a variation of our upward facing dog. And then with the exhale, taking the hips all the way back and up into our downward facing dog. Going again on the other side. So inhaling, sweeping the right foot all the way up. Exhaling, taking the foot in between the hands, finding the balance here. Before inhaling, reaching the hands up overhead. And then exhaling, taking the hands back down to the mat, stepping back into our high plank. Breathing in here. With the exhale, we're lowering. Inhaling, lifting the chest. And then exhaling, taking the hips all the way back and up into our downward facing dog. Taking a gentle pedal of the legs once more and just checking in, seeing how it feels, noticing if there's any difference from the very beginning. Maybe taking some gentle yeses and nos with the head, just shaking any tension out of the neck. With the next exhale, we're going to lower the knees all the way down to the ground and coming into a comfortable seating position. So that might be with the feet out in front. What we're going to do here is a gentle release all through the backs of the legs, but instead of leaning forwards and reaching for our toes, we're going to bring the feet all the way in, and we're going to take our peace fingers around the big toes, and with an exhale, we're just going to gently walk the feet out as far as feels comfortable. So maybe the knees don't quite come all the way down to the floor, right? Maybe they do. But breathing in deeply, drawing the shoulder blades together, finding a nice neutral straight back. And then with the exhale, we're going to fold forwards, maybe tucking the chin. Breathing deeply into the belly. And as time starts to pass, as you allow the tension to drain out of the backs of the legs, maybe you come to a place where you can start to inch the feet further a little bit more. Or maybe not. Maybe you want to stay exactly where you are. Maybe let go of the feet altogether and rest the hands down on the mats. Inhale, taking the hands up, lifting the chest. We're going to slowly come into a reclined position here. So taking the back all the way down to the floor. Finding our final resting